The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. I'm going to put them up in the top right-hand corner like I always do, so you know where to go to get your new or used vehicle. If you are in the market, head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We thank them for their constant support and sponsorship of everything that we're able to do on Running Point since the jump. By the way, have you seen the new Chevy Colorado that is on the floor at Greenwood Chevrolet? If you're a pickup guy, man, it's all black. It's slick. Let's go get one. Let's get a Chevy Colorado. Can you imagine me trying to get into one of those? I need a hydraulic lift. All right, Ant, step up now. All right, we're good. Oh man. But it does look very, very slick. And you can find that and a lot more on the floor at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Make sure to go there and check them out. If you're in the market for your next vehicle, there's no better place to be. We have a great show for you today. We're going to have a live interview. Yeah, let's go. Sydney Watts is going to be joining us at 1:30, the superstar from Austin Town Fitch. You know, we can't go a softball season without talking to Sid, and she'll be joining us at 1:30 to talk about the first half of her season and how it's gone so far, what her experiences have been, talk about some of the growth that she's had from last year, how she's gotten better, maybe the Summer Bowl and what it was like playing at the national level and going to, Colorado and Georgia and all these different places to play softball against the top tier talent in the country. So excited to talk to her at 1:30. But before we get to Sydney, like we always do, we're going to start with the recaps of last night's action. We had a lot of games get in, and here is the YSN scoreboard on the website. We're going to share that screen, pop it up for you, so you don't have to look at my face the whole time while I read off these scores and talk about these games. So there you go. There's the YSN scoreboard. I'll scroll it down for you here so you can see the whole picture. But you take a look on a lot of action from last night. We got so much in because of the beautiful weather. I always start with where I was at the night before, and I want to start with where I was. Poland versus South Range, round 2 in Poland. This was a big series inside the NE8 and on the softball side of things. And you look at the way the game went last night, and I actually have to scroll to the side. I forgot this goes up and down and side to side. So I want to get the Poland score up on the screen. Oh, never mind. It doesn't go side to side. Anyway, so you know how big of a series that this is in Poland against South Range and the Bulldogs, and Poland came in 2 games back. They needed to at least split the series with South Range to stay alive in the NE8, and South Range could have gotten a big stranglehold with a win. A lot was on the line. That's the whole premise that I'm trying to say. A lot was on the line last night in Poland, and I think when you watch the way the game went, you could tell that both teams understood what was on the line, because South Range came out focused from the jump They scored 5 runs in the first 3 innings. They were up 5-0. That tells me that they went into that game knowing how important it was. They were locked in. They were focused. They weren't going to let Poland come out and grab momentum early. But Poland's response to that also tells me that the Bulldogs understood just how important it was to win this game. 5-0. A lot of teams packing it at that point. But Poland had been down before. Remember back against Sharpsville, they came back from a 7-2 deficit in the 7th and walked off that game 8-7. So they knew how to come back from adversity. They were down 5-0. They scored 5 runs in that bottom of the 3rd, and they tied up the game 5-5. And then after they put down the Raiders in the next half inning, in the top of the 4th, Poland came back and took the lead in the bottom of the 4th. So it was 6-5. Poland after it started off 5-0 South Range. So now, you wondered how Poland would respond to South Range's burst. Then you had to worry about, okay, how is South Range going to respond now to the Poland punch? And South Range, they are no strangers to adversity either. We knew that in their games against Aner and Austin in Myrtle Beach. So you kind of understood, like, hey, this is a team that knows how to come back. They didn't win that game, but they were down 6-1. They came back, they took a lead, and then they ended up pushing that team to extras and falling in 8 innings. But, that game proves South Range knows how to come back from adversity. So here they are down, all of a sudden down by 1 in the top of the 5th. And they come up to the plate, and it's one of the experienced players that steps up big time for them. Gretchen Bartels hits the go-ahead double after the game gets tied up by Maddie Dado. So Maddie Dado, Gretchen Bartels, 2 players that played in that state championship appearance a couple of years ago. They both come through when the Raiders are down. And that's one of the things I've been talking about with the South Range team, even though I haven't had the chance to see them yet this year until last night. I knew the players, I covered them last year a lot, knew kind of what was in store for the roster. A lot of young talent on this team. They brought in a lot of young talent, but I thought there were going to be times when they'd have to lean on the veterans, lean on the experience. And last night was proof of that. I mean, and even in Myrtle Beach, who had the big hit in Myrtle Beach to give the Raiders back the lead? Maddie Dado, the players that have been there and done that, when big time situations come up and the Raiders need a big hit, you almost expect those players to be a little bit more locked in. And Maddie Dado got the game tying RBI. Gretchen Bartels comes up with the double to score another one to put the Raiders up 7-6. And once they had that kind of momentum, they held on to it. They scored again in the 6th with Jamie Farron grounding out with an RBI after Kira Brogan tripled to lead off the inning. So an RBI ground out made it 8-6. Stakowicz came in relief and really shut down the Bulldogs after Suzanne had, a rough start. And that's one of the other things that I think makes South Range so impressive and so formidable is their number 1 or their number 2, their starter, whoever starts the game. I'm not gonna pick a 1 or 2 between Stack and Suzanne, because you look at their numbers, they're pretty much equals. And they've been splitting innings pretty evenly down the line. But whoever starts the game doesn't have that pressure that they have to be on their A game right now, or the team's not going to do well, because Coach DeRose can just go to the bullpen and say, okay, actually go to first base, because they just swap out spots and they say, okay, we're gonna throw Stakowicz and see what she can do, because for whatever reason tonight you're just not, you're not hitting the spots. And that's going to happen to pitchers. You're never going to pitch perfectly every single game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This sport is built to make you fail. So that is usually talked about with hitters, but it's also true for pitchers. Every pitcher is hittable. You're throwing the ball. You have to throw the ball in the strike zone, and it's a game of inches. If you missed your spot by a couple of inches, all of a sudden it goes from, a jam job where you're getting inside of the hands to that got a sweet spot of the bat, and that's going a long way. So pitchers are built to fail too. Like, this game is built to make pitching very, very, very hard. So you're not going to have your A game every night, but South Range doesn't have that pressure. They have a couple of arms. They can throw it to you. So if Suzanne isn't having the best night, hey, we're going to bring Stakowicz. If Stakowicz isn't having the best night, hey, we can bring in Suzanne off the bullpen. They give you different looks. And then if DeRose needs to, he can bring in Jaylee Wilt, who has done a really good job for the Raiders this year as well, as kind of a number 3 bullpen pitcher. So having those arms, having that depth, is a kind of a new trend in high school softball. It's been growing in college softball. You can't win now in the college level without having arms to go to. It didn't used to be that way, and even in like 2012. Um, I remember, actually 11. I remember like Dallas Escobedo for Arizona State pitched almost every inning in the College World Series and just carried her team in the circle to a victory, to the championship. It doesn't happen anymore. You don't see a team win a College World Series with just one pitcher. Now you still saw it a lot in high school. You still saw a lot of pitchers just dominate their way to a state championship or dominate their way to state tournament bursts and things like that. But I think what we're seeing a little bit more now is hitters get better and pitchers get better. Pitchers get more developed. I think you're starting to see more high school teams be able to have a staff, and you're starting to see the real benefits of that at the high school level. Everything trickles down. When you see it start to happen in the college game, you can bet, okay, you give it a few years, it's going to start to become more predominant in the high school game because of the development of the sport. There are more pitchers now. You look at the pitchers just in this area. I'm scrolling back. I'm just giving you guys a look of the scoreboard. There's Poland South Range. For some reason, I missed it when I was looking at it first. But you look at the pitchers in this area in the softball and baseball fields. Excuse me, but it's so widespread now. There's so many good pitchers. The development of arms is starting at a younger age. Girls are getting into softball a lot earlier, and now all of a sudden you see a lot of teams with not just one pitcher but a couple they can throw. And then even the teams that have one, that one is very, very, very good. And that's why pitching is so good in our area right now. So South Range gets the win last night, 8-6. That was their final score. I was really impressed with both teams. Like I said, I think the name of the game was coming back. Both teams understood what the magnitude of the game was. They both had fight in them. They both had fight in their belly, and they both were able to come back from some adversity. So I think both teams can come away from this game knowing that they're kind of looking good into the future. I was talking to Coach DeRose, obviously, after the game because he had his post-game interview, and he talked about how much they leaned on the experience in Myrtle Beach and how much they're looking forward to the trip to Stowe this weekend to get more experience against good teams with Talmadge and Stowe. But then I was talking to Coach Sarah Chafter as well. Excuse me, got a little tickle. But I was talking to Coach Sarah as well. And he was talking about the Division III region, the Division III district. I mean, you look at teams and the pitching in this district in Division III that Poland is now a part of. Poland, South Range, Champion, Columbiana. Rootstown has someone that pitcher that is just A-list pitching. Would start on any team in our area. They're in Division III. They'll be in there. And then you have just outside of our region that will be, someone that our teams have to face when they win a district is Rooster Triway, who has a Georgia Tech commit that's locking it down with Carter Wachtel. So the pitching in Division III is ridiculous. Tuslaw is still in there. Tuslaw went to state last year as well. They'll be in our region. And this in our districts, by the way, you got Champion, South Range, Poland, Rootstown, Columbiana. I mean, the pitching. Oh, I'm giddy about it. The pitching right now, it's ridiculous. And even Miranda Nicholson. I mean, she's going to be Division IV if I remember right with Brookfield. But the pitching in this area is so good. Let's go over the rest of the scores from the Ysn Network last night. As you can see them on our scoreboard. I might not be going in the order of the scoreboard. I'm going from the Instagram graphics, but we will get through all these scores either way. So bear with me if you're trying to follow along on the scoreboard on your screen. The first score to come in last night was from Boardman. The softball team traveled up to North Canton Hoover, and they kept it close for a minute, but then Hoover just flexed their muscles late and won 12-2. That was a 2-2 game for quite a minute. Jackson Milton softball, they got the win over Lowville, 12-0. Final score there. We saw Hubbard softball get the sweep over Girard, 9-6. Final score. Did not go 10 innings like the game before. We see Edgewood get the narrow victory over Pymatuning Valley, 7-6. The final score there. Warriors get the win inside the 4-4-0. Brookfield, they get a win 15-0 over Newton Falls. Abby DeJoy hits her 7th home run of the season. She continues to climb up that Brookfield power record holders, and it's going to be hard for Abby, even though she's on pace to hit a lot. That Brookfield record is held by Bailey Drapola, and I think it's 17 if I'm not mistaken. So 7 down, 10 to go if you're Abby DeJoy, if you want to get that record. Bailey Drapola in her senior year at the University of Pittsburgh, and walked off Georgia Tech, unfortunately for me, on Friday night. West Branch got the 500th program victory and 500th career win for Sis Woods, 8-7. They get the win over Minerva. First win for West Branch came back on April 9th, 1987 against Columbiana, and they have won 500 times since then. A couple of state appearances, most recently back in 2019 with Jordan Anderson in the circle. They were able to, actually 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, 2021. Yeah, I got that wrong. 2021 with Jordan Anderson in the circle. Jordan Anderson now at George Mason. So they went to state that year, did West Branch. McDonald got the win to bounce back from their loss to Springfield in the last game. So they get a little bit of revenge, split the season series. 3-1, the final score there. Blue Devils beat the Tigers. Hoban baseball learned just how good Walsh Jesuit is. 15-5. Walsh gets the win over Hoban. Poland baseball needed a win. They got it 4-2 over South Range. They split that series, and they go back to a game ahead over the Raiders in the NE8 standings. The other Blue Bulldogs in the NE8 right on their heels. They get another win inside the conference, 6-5. They beat Niles, a tough one for Lakeview. They had to fight the whole night, but they keep pace inside the league. We keep going with more scores, and it was Crestview baseball that got the win over Bristol, 5-3, the final score there. Ursuline baseball shuts out Heartland Christian, 7-0, final score for that. A great pitching performance from Ursuline. West Branch falls to Alliance on the road, 10-0, so they lose the season series to Alliance, a close one 2 nights ago, but last night Alliance flexed their muscles a little bit. Matthews gets the better of Jackson Milton on the baseball field, 10-0, final score there. We saw Columbiana. They got the win over Middle Ridge, 14-4. Austintown Fitch made it 2 out of 3 against Mooney as they win last night against the Cardinals, 6-3. The final score there. Struthers gets the win over Jefferson last night on the baseball field, 9-7. Final score. Newton Falls is going to sweep Brookfield as they win last night, 7-5. Big series win for the Tigers. Champion gets back to winning as they win 13-2 over Liberty. Edgewood gets the win over Pymatuning Valley, 9-7 on the baseball side of things. We saw Salem lose a very close one to Carrollton. Heartbreaker for the Quakers, 6-5 final score there. Louisville baseball got right back to it as they won over Massillon Washington, 7-6 final score there. Mooney softball fell to Canton Central Catholic down at the Field of Dreams, 20-4 the final score. Hoban gets the shutout of Brunswick, 4-0. Faith Porter pitched really well for the Knights, and you can find a post-game interview with her and Nyla Durham on the recap, wonderfully written by Ty Bartell at the ysnlive.com. You can also find the post-game interview on our YouTube page as well. Hoban will be back in action tonight against Fitch, so Ty gets a chance to call them twice in a row. Really looking forward to this matchup between the Knights and the Falcons, as both teams bring really good pitching into the circle with Porter and Watts. East Palestine got the win 18-1 over Latonia last night on the softball diamond. Big win for the Bulldogs. United goes outside of the EOAC and pounds Crestview. 13-0. Torrey Firth got the start, pitched well, hit a home run. That's a ho-hum day for Tori Firth. We all know that she's capable of that every single night she steps on the field. We go to the next score coming in, which was Jefferson softball getting the win in Ashtabula County 19-1 over Grand Valley outside of the conference. St. John baseball beat Lordstown 13-0. Final score there. Badger baseball beats Cheney 16-5. The final score. The Braves ramp up the offense and get the big win. Walsh Jesuit beats Louisville 7-4. The final score to that one on the softball side of things. We saw last night Beaver local baseball fall to Oakland 9-4. Final score. Then we saw LeBray lose to Middlefield Cardinal. And those of you that don't know, Middlefield Cardinal with a pitcher that is a D1 commit, throws 90 miles an hour, and it's tough. They really played well and just on the wrong end of a good game against a good baseball team. 4-2 LeBray falls. Lakeview gets the win last night on the softball side of things, 21-0 over Niles. And Gianna Caruso hit another home run for them. She's starting to really flex her power muscles, as that's multiple home runs on the year for Caruso. JFK gets the nightcap victory in Eastwood Field as they win 3-1 over Warren Harding. We saw last night Fitch softball travel to Chardon, get the 7-2 win over the Hilltoppers. It was Morgan Roby and Kylie Folkwine that had the big bats. And how about Steve Ward on the road taking the job of Ty Bartell and doing a post-game interview with those two? Nothing but fun from that. You can find that on ysnlive.com and our YouTube page as well. Make sure to check that out because that was absolute gold. No one expected it. No one asked him to do it. Ty Bartell told me he just got a text out of the blue from Steve Ward that said, "Hey, here's a post-game interview." And that was a really fun moment. That team's having a lot of fun with their season. And once again, we'll talk to Sydney Watts in a little bit about that and more. Western Reserve offense still just scoring at will. 12-4, they get the win over Waterloo inside that scarlet tier of the MVAC. So Western Reserve still humming. Hannah Heath had the big day at the plate for them in that one. Let's see. Brook beat Beaver Local softball 14-3. Final score there. Lordstown was able to knock off St. John softball 10-0, the final score for that one. And those are your final scores for last night. You can find a bunch of recaps, post-game interviews, stories, stats, and more on ysnlive.com. Always find our updated scoreboard at night on ysnlive.com as well. And then don't forget that you can also find the standings page on ysnlive.com. In fact, while I'm over there at the scores page, why don't I just pull up the standings page just to show you real quick. You go to that tab, and then you hit standings right there. And here you go, standings for the AAC, and then you just scroll down to the bottom, and you can toggle the conferences down here. All the different conferences that our YSN teams are down there, and you can see how all of them are doing after excuse me, after last night's games. So we're going to take a break on YSN's Running Point. Be back with Sydney Watts.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Hi, I want to tell you about my Trish Yearwood home collection available at Sheely's Furniture. With 2 locations serving Ohio and Pennsylvania, Sheely's is one of the country's top sellers of my home collection. And the best part? At Sheely's, you never have to wait for a sale. They offer everyday low pricing as well as a price match guarantee, so you can shop the Trish Yearwood home collection with confidence. Come see my collection with something to offer for every room in your home and get it all with free local delivery, only at Sheely's Furniture.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com or find us on Facebook.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. And we should be getting Cindy Watson on the show any minute now. Speaking of which, there it is, popping up. The superstar from Austintown Fitz, Cindy Watts, joining us. Sid, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here on Running Point today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so here it is. This season starts off. I want to talk a little bit about last season and some of the things that you learned from last season, because you stepped on the stage last year. You had such an incredible year, and it was your freshman year. Now you step back into a sophomore season where you have to kind of balance that whole expectations of the success of last year and then just try to go out and have fun with your team. How have you handled the mentality of this year after all the success that you had last season as a freshman?
I just go out there and have fun with my team. That's pretty much all it is. Yeah, just going out there and having fun with my girls.
You know, it's fun when we see teams go up against you and go up against Fitch. It's like the biggest game of their lives. They want to go up. They want to play against Cindy Watts. They want to play against Fitch. They want to see you what you bring to them in the circle. What's that like, knowing that every time you step in, like, everyone knows about you, everyone knows what you and this Falcons team bring to the table, and no matter whether it's league or out of conference or even teams that you play way out of the region, they're looking at this Fitch team like this is the biggest game on our schedule. What's that like for you guys?
I just feel like it's really good knowing that the hard work's paying off for all of us.
Let's talk about your summer. Obviously, you spent the summer with a travel ball team that goes and plays in national tournaments against, the best competition that you could ever find. A bunch of D1 commits, a bunch of Power 5 commits on and against you. What was that like this year to be able to spend the summer doing that and to be able to kind of expose yourself to that kind of level of softball?
It was really fun. I loved traveling with the team, especially the Dukes team. They were a great group of girls. The competition down there was really good, but still Ohio has really good competition.
Ohio really does. I mean, you look at the pitchers just in your conference, and nothing else. With Melena Toth and the ones that Boardman can bring at you, they have 3 arms that they can throw. What's it like to just navigate this AAC? I know that's the first goal in this team's mind is to win the AAC. What's it like knowing that you don't even have to go outside of the conference to see really good pitching?
It's great just knowing that the talent around here is just great compared to anywhere else.
When we talk about your summer and the experiences you had, what kind of things did you think you worked on this summer and in the off season to get better? What would you add to your toolbox? What would you add to your toy chest as far as things that you could attack hitters with from last year to this year?
A lot of it was my mental game. Being in the boot over the fall really made me develop that and just having to be strong. And a lot of it was working on my spin too. Being not able to throw hard while being in the boot really helped me learn my spins better.
How much was that really a help to you? I mean, you talk about being able to spin the ball. I mean, last year, maybe the mentality at sometimes was just, I can outthrow you. I can get you out just with my velocity alone, but now you know that you can have the velocity, but you can spin the ball too, and you can go the off speed route. What do you think that's done for you in the circle?
I feel like it's really helped being a hitter too. I feel like speed is something that is good, but if you have speed and spin, it's really hard to hit.
And we talk about the mental aspect of the game. And one of the things that I always find interesting when I'm talking about the players like you, the players that are known throughout the area, like I said in the top, it comes with expectations. Everyone kind of expects Sydney Watts to be this big name and to be, going off and doing great things. How do you handle that mentally? The idea that everyone on the, is expecting so much out of you.
I just go in it knowing that everybody's allowed to have a bad day. If I do have a bad day, my team's back there to back me up, and I just pitch.
A lot of kids don't listen to the expectations that other people have of them. They set their own expectations and they stick with that. So what I want to ask you, what are the goals that you have set? Where's the bar that you set for yourself that you try to focus on so you don't have to hear and listen to the expectations from the outside?
I really don't have goals. I just work hard, and I just like seeing the hard work pay off.
When you step on the field, though, what are some expectations? Like, if I do this tonight, then I'll have a good game in my mind. What would be that answer for you? If I do this tonight, then I'd have a good game.
Probably just do the best I can that day.
You guys get to play a lot of teams from outside the area. What has the advancements in technology and the game changer and the fact that you can find these hitter stats, and for some of these game changers, you can find video of the at-bats and scouting. What has that done for you as a pitcher to be able to really know how to attack the hitters before you even step on the field against these teams?
Just like you said, being able to go back and watch the videos of them playing previous games is really big. Just knowing oh, they can hit this pitch, they can't hit this pitch, so maybe I'll focus more on whatever pitch they aren't as good at.
How much do you think your softball IQ and being able to spot that kind of thing has grown from last year to this year?
I feel like my summer had a lot to do with that. Just facing that competition and knowing, okay, if I am not on hitting my spots, then the ball will be put in play.
I say it all the time. This sport is built to make you fail. It's a hard sport. It's a sport that you're not going to have your best day every day. You're not going to have your best day hitting every day. What are some things you tell yourself during those times to keep yourself even and to keep yourself positive and confident?
Just knowing that I have my defense behind me while I'm pitching, and offense, it's just knowing that no matter what happens, we will be able to produce more runs and make the outs.
I saw a Facebook post this morning that from Tommy Watts that says that you walked him and stirring up some stuff. So clear the air. I mean, did that really happen, or is he lying?
He's lying. I did
He's
not
lying
lie.
straight up. You strike him
Yeah,
out.
he watched strike 3 right down the middle.
When you think about that kind of stuff, it's always fun to go up against some people and to be able to, tell people to give you a hard time. Okay, get in the box. Let's see. Who are some other people that you would like to see? Like, hey, get in the box every now and then, just to see what it's like to go up against you.
I don't know. I want to definitely pitch my dad again, so there's no way he could say I won.
When you think about some of the toughest hitters you faced, who are some guys, who are some at bats and some hitters and some competition that come to mind that think, man, I'm going to enjoy going up against them for the next 2 years of my high school career?
Definitely Tori Strine. She put the ball in play a lot when we played Boardman, and she's just an overall great player.
All right, we have to talk about your battery. It's you and McKenna Hogan again, and you guys have been running the show. She does so good at handling her pitchers. Obviously, she caught with Lydia Spalding before you came to Fitch as well. What makes her such a good catcher? What do you think it is about McKenna that makes her so personable and so easy to kind of trust and have that relationship with as the pitcher catcher has to?
We just have a really good bond on and off the field, and I feel like that contributes a lot to how we work together on the field. She's like a big sister to me, and just kind of like we just clicked when I came to Fitch.
Last year, we already knew how big that relationship was. You were already best friends last year, but it's always growing, right? The relationships constantly grow. How much have you grown with your friendship with McKenna this year?
Again, we're really close off the field, and I feel like just she's always there for me, and I know that going into the games, like even if it's anything softball related, anything non-softball related, she's there for me.
You look at this roster that you have this year, there are a lot of either freshmen or girls that are stepping up into new roles on varsity. And they all have to be looking at you as one of the leaders of this team. Even though you're just a sophomore, you're just kind of one of the people that naturally has people looking up to them. What has that been like for you to kind of bring some new players onto this varsity level and kind of show them what the standard of Fitch is and try to lead them the best you can?
It's really good knowing that they look up to me, but I try and just like comfort them because a lot of them are nervous going into the games. And I'm just like, it's a game. We play it all the time. Just go in and have fun.
What kind of leadership qualities do you think you bring to the table? I mean, what's it been like seeing yourself grow into a leader from freshman to sophomore year?
I think again, it's just like I have fun. I am not a high like tense person, so I just make everybody feel better.
Was that something coming into this year? Like, okay, I know I'm going to have to be a leader to this team and I'm going to have to kind of step up that. Was that something that you knew coming into this year and you tried to work on your confidence to go and lead people? Or was that something that you think you already had and you just were able to do it?
I feel like that's something I already had and I was able to do it.
When you talk about this coaching staff, obviously we have to bring up Steve Ward and what it's like being under him for a second year and the coaching staff you have. I know you and your pitching coach and the people that call the pitches obviously have a great relationship with you as well. What's it been like being under the people that you are for Fitch, and what has made that so special?
Again, I feel like that's just the coaches knowing that they're there for us with softball related and non-softball related. Coach Ward, we go to his room like 20 times a day, just the players, just we talk to him on and off the field. And then Coach Becky, I work with her all the time. She is like just always there for me, always helping me do stuff. And with her working with Lydia before me and Lydia going to the same pitching coach as me, she just knows so much about how I pitch, and we just work together.
This is going to be a scary question for people that have to go up against you, especially the ones that have to go up against you for the next couple of years. But it's so you're putting up such good numbers, and people will probably think that you're like one of the best pitchers in the state. But great players always find things to get better at. So when you're looking at your game and you're watching yourself pitch and you're in the bullpen, you're working on stuff. What are you working on? What are you trying to get better at so you can constantly improve?
A lot is my control. I feel like I need to get better at throwing first pitch strikes and just getting ahead of the batters, because keeping my pitches down is like something we really wanted to focus on this year, so I'm not getting burnt out before summer, and just making sure my control's there.
All right, so you think about the experience in last year's tournament. You guys went to the regional final. You fell just short against North Canton Hoover. What did that experience teach you about this year, and how hungry has that made you to try to get back to that step and try to punch that ticket to Firestone Stadium?
It taught us that we just need to work harder. I feel like we were kind of getting like level-headed going into that game, and we're like, oh, we got this. But Hoover has a great team, and they're nobody you can take lightly. So I just feel like we needed to work a little bit harder there.
You guys had so much fun at the beach, and you played so well down there. And every time a team goes to a beach or travels somewhere south, I always ask them what's it like coming back to Ohio after that. And obviously the first day after that, it was cold, and then you guys have to go and play. What was it like to come back from the beach and try to take all the lessons that you've learned from the beach right back into playing teams in our region back in the first time back from the beach?
It just felt nice to be back like at home and playing in front of like our home. Myrtle was a really good tournament. We did very good, and I feel like it just taught us a lot.
A lot of people are interested in your college decision, right? They see you going to all these, the camps and all the coaches you're able to talk to and all your interests. And everyone asks me, hey, where do you think Sydney Watson's going to go? And I don't know. So when I want to ask you, I'm not going to ask you where you're going to go. That's kind of silly. You have a lot of time to figure that out. But you are starting to look, and you are starting to go to these camps and meet these coaches. What kind of things do you like? What kind of things do you look for? What kind of things make you say, this is going to be someone that might be on my list when you look at these camps and these colleges that you're able to go to?
I really like seeing the players bond with the coaches. That's something that's really big for me, knowing that the coaches will be there for me. And yeah.
What's it been like just to see all these different programs and maybe meet some of these players and see the stadiums and kind of feel that atmosphere of the next level?
It is great. Just the facilities that these colleges have are unlike no other. Like, they're just amazing. And the coaches, just being able to work with them before you get to the schools is just, I love going to camps just to be able to work with their coaches.
How do you compartmentalize the everything that can be stressful about, the recruiting process and all the stuff that you have to worry about with that, with just like you said at the top of this interview, just going out there and having fun and trying to be the best you can be for Fitch without having to worry about all that? How do you compartmentalize that and still trying to do your job and try to get yourself to the best place possible at the next level as well?
Just working hard. As long as I continue to work hard, I will be where I want to go.
You work so hard, and everyone that works as hard as you do has a drive, has something that gets them through those days where they don't want to. What's that for you? What's that drive? What gets you through the days that maybe you don't want to work as hard as you do?
Just knowing the outcome will be worth it.
We talked about how you were a role model and then people look up to you. And I'm sure there's a lot of younger girls that aren't even in high school yet that are looking up to you now. What kind of advice do you give to those people when they come up to you and they ask you for advice?
Like I said before, just keep working. No matter how hard it gets, the outcome will pay off.
What's the biggest form of advice you've gotten as you were growing up into the softball world and you started to kind of grow into the player that you are now?
Probably never take anybody lightly. I feel like that one was something I really had to learn. No matter who they are, you have to just try your hardest that day and do your best.
All right, Sid, I want to get to know you a little bit off the field because everyone just talks about your softball ability, but you are more than a softball player, so I want to expose that a little bit. Let's have some rapid fire questions. What is your favorite childhood Saturday morning cartoon?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Okay. Now, if you could put yourself like in the world of SpongeBob, what character do you think best represents your personality?
Probably SpongeBob, because I'm kind of like loud and crazy.
But what about some of your do any of your teammates represent other characters? Like, do you think like, hey, this person is this or this person is this?
I feel like Maddie Butis might be Patrick.
Okay. When you think about some of the things that you enjoy doing outside of the sport, what comes to mind?
Just being with my family and friends. I love just spending time with the people I love.
With your travels for the sport of softball, you've gotten to see a lot of places. What are some of your favorite spots to be, whether that be for a vacation or just favorite spots that you've been in your life?
I love California. That is my favorite state. Period. I love that you can like there's beaches, different beaches everywhere, and just I loved Hollywood. Everything was just it was fun.
Where's one place that you haven't been yet that you would want to be in the future?
Probably Hawaii.
When you think about some of the people that you would call role models in your own life, who do you think come to mind?
My dad, my parents, both my parents, they always push me to do my best, and yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Does that change for different stuff, or is it like universal? Like favorite color car, blue. Favorite shoes, blue. Shirts, blue. Whatever it may be. Is it all blue, or is it just blue for certain things?
It's just blue for certain things.
All right. So, what's your dream car then? If we brought up the car, what kind of cars would you want to drive if money wasn't an option and you could go in and drive anything? What would it be?
A white Jeep.
Would it be blue?
No, a white Jeep.
Oh, you said white. I didn't. Okay. A white Jeep. Okay. What are some things that you spend too much money on?
Starbucks.
What's your Starbucks order?
A strawberry acai, but they got rid of the raspberry, so just a strawberry acai with lemonade.
So disappointing. So disappointing. What is your favorite pregame routine before you get to a field?
Braiding my hair. My hair has to be braided before every single game.
Same way?
No, it just has to be in two braids at the top. Usually the bottom changes, like the ponytail changes.
Who's the team stylist? Like, who's the best at doing the hair on the team?
McKenna. She usually always does it during fifth period, which is our lunch. So, yeah, McKenna.
That's who you go to. All right. Sydney, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck going forward. We love having you on the show. You're welcome anytime. You just give us a text. We'll get you on. Thanks for the time, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
You got it. That is Sydney Watts from Austintown Fitch, sophomore pitcher that is doing incredible things in her career and will continue to do incredible things throughout the rest of her journey. But she's just a sophomore, which scares a lot of people that have to go up against her. You're going to see not just this year, but 2 more years of her at Austintown Fitch. Speaking of Fitch, they will be in a matchup tonight with Archbishop Hoban, a really good matchup between 2 really good pitchers in Faith Porter and Sydney Watts. They're going to go up against it. Faith Porter got the shutout of Brunswick last night. That's a hard offense to shut out. I'm glad I didn't do any of that during the interview. I'm glad my voice decided to save that for after the interview. So let's go to the games that'll be on the network tonight real quick before we get out of here. My voice is saying, stop, for the love of God. Dang. Baseball on the network. Jackson Milton will be at LeBray at Eastwood Field. 4:30 first pitch. We have Camel at Lowville on scene 2. At 5 o'clock, Eric Hughes will be on the call there. Alec Caberna will be at Eastwood Field for that first Jackson Milton and LeBray game, and then he'll be back there for the doubleheader. That's Lordstown and East at Wyndham in game 2. So Alec Caberna will be there for both games. Then we go into Niles at Mineral Ridge. That'll be Matt Morrison on the call there. 5 o'clock first pitch. Excuse me. At Kent State, Talmadge goes to play Hoban at Kent State. So that'll be at 7 o'clock. Matt Marr will be on the call from Kent State University. Lakeview will be at Howland tonight. Cooper Chavone will be there on the call. 5 o'clock first pitch. Ursuline will be at Hubbard. That'll be Tim Corso on the call there. South Range goes to scene 3 to play Mooney at 5. Chris Colucci on the call for that one. Matthews will be at St. John. Sam Torres will be on the call there. Matthews with a big win over Jackson Milton last night, so we'll see if the Mustangs can keep that momentum. Edgewood at Jefferson baseball has been canceled today, and so is Lisbon at Western Reserve. We'll go into the softball, the what's going to be on the network tonight. Hoban at Fitch. That's Ty Bartell. He has Fitch on lockdown, so he'll be there at 5 o'clock for that call. Beaver Local goes to Struthers. Bob Zanny and the school crew will have you covered there. And then Hoover will go to Canfield at 5 o'clock. I will be on the call there with the Cardinals hosting the Vikings. That should be a really good matchup between two really good teams. Let's go just back up to baseball real quick. Tell you the other games that are happening tonight. East Palestine will be at Beaver Local. Garrettsville Garfield goes to Newton Falls. Heartland Christian goes to United. Latonia will be at Cheney at Cock Field. McDonald will be at Liberty. Madonna, not the singer, goes to East Liverpool. West Branch will be at Poland tonight, and Salem will go to Girard. Here's some softball games that are happening. Madison will be at Edgewood. East Palestine goes to Springfield. LeBray will play Campbell Memorial. Lakeview will be at Howland tonight. Latonia goes to Cheney at the Field of Dreams. Lordstown will be at Wyndham. Newton Falls will be at Crestview. Niles at South Range. Niles at Middle Ridge. I don't know why I said South Range. The R and the GE had me all screwed up. Niles will be at Middle Ridge. Perry will be at Jefferson tonight, and then Walsh at Jesuit makes the trip to Youngstown State to play Ursuline tonight after beating Louisville last night. Games that are canceled. Liberty at Garrettsville Garfield. Lisbon at Western Reserve, and Canton Central Catholic at Warren JFK have all been axed. I actually want to go to Garfield's Twitter real quick because I thought I saw a tweet from them saying they're playing at Liberty. Let me just see real quick. Garfield will be at Liberty tonight, so that game is not canceled. It was just moved from Garfield to Liberty. That address for the Liberty Center Park, 315 Churchill Hubbard Road, Youngstown, Ohio, 44505. So if you're a Garfield softball fan or you're a Liberty softball fan, they're playing at Liberty tonight at the address that I just mentioned for that matchup inside the MVAC gray tier. Real quick, tomorrow, 2 games on the network from softball. I will be in Grand Valley, weather permitting, for Pymatuning Valley, Grand Valley doubleheader. And then baseball, let's see on the network, we'll have Lordstown at Lowville on scene 1, McDonald at Cardinal Mooney on scene 2. On scene 2 after that, we'll have Canton Central Catholic at Ursuline. And then at 1:30 on Eastwood Field, we'll have Lakeview at Newton Falls. After the Pymatuning Valley at Brookfield game on Eastwood Field at 11 a.m. So those are going to be the games on the network tomorrow for baseball. That'll do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank Cindy Watts for her time to come on the show with us and be a great guest. We thank her for her time. We wish her the best of luck the rest of the year. And we thank you for your time tuning in. Obviously, we wouldn't have a show if people didn't tune in. So appreciate everyone that's watching, everyone that will watch on YouTube later. Appreciate your support, and thanks for tuning in today. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday from 1 to 2 on